He's Connor Rodgers of SNY, Jets analyst for them. Catch him every pre- and post-game show after every Jets game. This one being a Thursday night, them hosting the Patriots. Connor, how are we doing today, man?
George, great, man. Doing great. How are you? Short week. We're all scrambling. It's chaos for Jets Patriots here. It's the home opener for the Jets, but I love it.
So last home opener for the Jets, I mean, do we want to talk about it being in prime time and all the dreams and hopes shattered? Like, what's the anxiety like of this one being a Thursday night game? But, you know, Rodgers is healthy. Like, is there anxiety there? Or is it, let's just get on with it?
He's healthy, but all Jets fans have this fear of the MetLife turf like no other. So I think it'll be a sigh of relief after, the broadcast, I'm sure, is going to bring up the fourth play. And he's going to I think the entrance will be kind of a little bit more tame this year compared to last year, where it was a 9/11 game, carrying the American flag out. It was a big deal. They had the light show going at MetLife Stadium. I feel like it'll be a little bit more business focused in this game. But, of course, everybody's walking on eggshells. If the team was 0-2, I would say the panic alarm would have already been pulled. But the fact they're 1-1, they're banged up, but everybody's banged up on a short week. That's no surprise. I think things will be a little bit more leveled this time.
Yeah, for sure. It was big for them to get that win on the road at the Titans. And you mentioned they're banged up. And, of course, our conversation starts with Aaron Rodgers. But I got to flip it to the defense, Connor. I was shocked what I saw week 1 Monday night of them getting dominated at the line of scrimmage. And then the Titans came out and ran for 130 yards on them. What's up with the Jets defense this year? And even looking back on week 1 quick, is that was with Jermaine Johnson. Now he's done for the season. And we'll see if CJ Mosley's a go Thursday night.
Yeah, I think very quietly, George, when this team lost their nose tackle, Al Woods, to a torn Achilles last year, the defense started to go like this for a long time. The trajectory went the other way. Now, to be fair, Saleh's scheme and the money they've invested in the draft picks they've invested at those spots is built on stopping the pass and rushing the passer and then stopping the run. Now, of course, the old saying goes that you got to earn the right to rush the passer. It means you need to stop the run on early downs. I do think they did a better job of that in week 2. There was some situations, especially at the end of the game, where they put Will Levis in a throw script. If you put Will Levis in a throw script, he's probably going to do something dumb that costs the team the game. And he's a young quarterback, but he's also very reckless right now. And that's what he did, and the Jets won the game. Against a Kyle Shanahan-led offense, not only did they barely put Brock Purdy in a throw script, but when they did, it's Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, a much different story, and they paid for that. And they had no answer for the 49ers run game, which was an extra tight end, a lot of movement from the blockers, Trent Williams on the left side that devoured anybody in his path, and they didn't really tackle well against Jordan Mason. I would say the Patriots, I think, fall somewhere in between the Niners and Tennessee. I don't think their run game is on Shanahan's level. I think they're a better running team than Tennessee. But at the same time, say what you want about Will Levis, he's high variance. That doesn't mean he's really bad. He made a huge touchdown throw last week. He can make plays with his legs. I think Jacoby Brissett's led Patriots offense is a little bit more one-dimensional. They want to take care of the football. They throw to the tight end. They don't really get the receivers involved, but they'll get that 6th offensive lineman on the field in a jumbo package. They'll use multiple tight ends, and that's a weakness for the Jets right now. And this Jets team, where CJ Mosley might not play in this game, you mentioned Jermaine Johnson tore his Achilles, they're really thin up front. Hassan Reddick is still holding out. Not that he's a noted run stopper, but he's obviously an incredible pass rusher. They're kind of figuring it out. Quinnen Williams is getting double-teamed almost every play. Javon Kinlaw plays next to him, and he's played pretty well. He gets double-teamed a lot as well. Teams put the pressure on other guys to make plays, whether that's Quincy Williams and Jamian Sherwood, the linebackers behind them, whether that's some of their young defensive ends or veterans like Solomon Thomas, who is typically more of a pass rusher, but they might have to play it end. They're scrambling right now, and teams are able to run the ball on them. Against Tennessee, they were able to do enough offensively, and they got to stop at the end of the game when it mattered most. But I think against New England, the goal for the Jets is get a fast start and keep New England out of their run, and play-heavy package that they do very, very well. Now, that's easier said than done. The Jets got to prove they could do that, and quite frankly, they haven't proved that this season yet.
That's interesting that you point out. And I mean, you diagnosed the Patriots perfectly. You said the Niners brought out an extra tight end. They've gone jumbo tight end, even double jumbo tight end package plenty, with Caden Wallace coming in with the extra blocker. But now, Connor, here is where the fragility of that Patriots offensive line can really rear its head around. Vederian Lowe's ruled out Thursday night. Caden Wallace, a rookie tackle, is expected to start at left tackle. He only played right tackle in college at Penn State, which I know you do with all the scouting you do. But that is where it can take a hit. But you mentioned that you say that the Jets can take away that Patriots rushing attack by being fast on offense and making them throw the ball. Do you see this Jets offense having that capability? We spoke about Rodgers just has to be serviceable. He has to be a top 15 QB, which he's looked like. But can this offense put the pressure on a Patriots defense that's been good, but also been diced up by Geno Smith this season?
I think he can. I'm a little surprised with how well he's throwing the ball. I knew that he wouldn't move around like vintage Rodgers, but the arm looks as good as ever. Now, the thing that really helps with that, they are getting some of the best pass blocking efficiency, I think, in the NFL as well. They are keeping him upright. They are keeping him clean. I think the run blocking has been mediocre right now, so they'd like more balance in terms of the success of their offensive line. But we know how this game is going to go, right? Christian Gonzalez is going to shadow Garrett Wilson, and he'll do a good job against Garrett Wilson. Christian Gonzalez is a really talented young corner. The Jets have been looking for an answer from somebody else that isn't Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall all the time. They think they might have cracked the code against Tennessee with Braelon Allen having a 2-touchdown game and playing a 2 running back set, the pony package they like to call it. Allen Lazard had a good week 1. He wasn't really very visible in week 2. Mike Williams had a massive catch, but they're still limiting his snap count coming off the ACL. So that's what New England's going to do in this game, right? They're going to come out and challenge you and say, we're not letting you throw to Garrett Wilson, and we're going to do everything we can to stop Breece Hall. Can Braelon Allen, Allen Lazard, Tyler Conklin, Mike Williams, can one of those guys, not all of those guys, make a play and get this offense going? That's going to be the big challenge for the Jets, to get that under their belt and then play the way they want on defense. And, going back to your point, I was surprised they took Caden Wallace because I thought there was such an evident need for left tackle. And
tell me about it.
I wasn't confident that he was ready to play left tackle now. I thought maybe in a year or two you could develop him to do that. Credit to Caden Wallace. When they do the jumbo package, he looks good as a run blocker. That's not any of my concern with Caden Wallace. I want to see how he is on an island as a pass protector. I guarantee New England tries to keep him out of those situations. We know they're going to put a guy next to him. They're going to staple a tight end or another lineman to his hip to not get him in one-on-one situations against Will McDonald. No Reddick in this game, so the matchup's not crazy for New England, but he's still a rookie. And going back to that, New England's running 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the field 39% of the time. The only team doing that more in the NFL right now is the Baltimore Ravens, and that's because Isaiah Likely is, one of their top receivers, although he plays tight end. And they're running out of 12 personnel 57% of the time. They're using that 6th offensive lineman on 26 of their 130 offensive snaps. Like, this team, they tell you what they are. You just have to go stop it. And I can't, emphasize this enough. It's almost more on the Jets offense to help the defense stop it than the defense themselves. Because like you said, George, they need to have a hot start on offense. And they haven't done that through the first 2 games. But it'll be interesting to see how they are at home. An offensive line that's gelling together. They got these 2 monster running backs. And I think at some point they're going to take that deep shot to Mike Williams or Garrett Wilson that they haven't tried yet. It just feels like at some point you got to do that, especially with Mike getting his legs back under him 2 games in.
I love that you point out going for that deep shot, because the biggest mistake we saw on Sunday for the Patriots was Kyle Duggar and Christian Gonzalez getting crossed up in communication and DK Metcalf just running uncovered down the left sideline. They're going to clean up the communication, but the big part that is lost in that is a huge loss for the Patriots, Connor, is Juwan Bentley. And this is what could help out the Jets in their rushing attack. Juwan Bentley's down. We don't know how long, but it's going to be a long span, possibly season ending. He's not playing Thursday, obviously. That is their main communicator on defense. That's been a 3-time captain, 3-time 100 tackler. They're starting as their off-ball linebacker, 245 pounds up the middle, playing behind a Devon Godshaw and Daniel Ukawale. Now that he's gone, that is a huge loss. Is this something with the pony package, like you pointed out, a Breece Hall and Braelon Allen, that both have their roles in this offense? Is that something where we could see a teeter the other way, though, where this Jets rushing attack could expose the Patriots for being light up front in their front 7?
Yeah, Bentley's a massive loss, and I think you kind of hinted at this. It's not just the physical, it's the mental side of his game, and what the Jets want to do with the pony package is not look at you and go, hey, we're going to run the ball, and we're going to run right down your throat. They want to use misdirection. They want to they love throwing to Breece Hall, but hey, we threw to Breece Hall in the first quarter. Now we're going to fake the swing pass to Breece Hall, and Braelon Allen's going to leak out, and he's going to catch the ball and score a touchdown. That's what they did against Tennessee. You know how you stop those plays? By having a linebacker with great awareness that can read his keys, that can get everybody lined up and point out the different threats. That's a lot to ask for anybody to fill those shoes. It's like the Jets right now with if CJ Mosley doesn't play in this game. You're not always just going to fill CJ Mosley's shoes. He's CJ Mosley with all the talent he's shown throughout this league for a long time. you need to find guys that kind of fill roles. So, yeah, I think it's a great point that it's an advantage for the Jets in that regard, because while their run blocking seems very average from the offensive line, they have two running backs that they like to get involved, and they're two guys that are really hard to tackle. It's hard to run with Breece, and that's why it could be hard to tackle him. Braelon Allen, it's not hard to run with him. It's just simply impossible to tackle him one-on-one. He's 245 pounds. It's insane. So, yeah, that's a great point. It's a big challenge for New England in this game. It's fascinating that they're also down Christian Barmore still. Yep. Both teams are very thin in their front seven. Keon White's a game wrecker. So is Quinnen Williams. So they each have their kind of notable guy. But you can game plan against one guy. It's harder to game plan against two or three difference makers in a front seven.
Yeah, watching back on that Titans game, how quick Braelon Allen is now. I didn't know you could get faster as you get older. He's faster than he was at Wisconsin. And then watching Breece Hall just run a fly route and high point the ball in the end zone, it's not fair. You touched on it, though, Connor. Christian Gonzalez will fly paper Garrett Wilson. Between Jamar Chase and DK Metcalf, he held them to 7 catches and under 50 receiving yards when paired up one-on-one with them. Is there anyone else in this passing attack that you think is reliable enough to go after this Patriots defense? One, by the way, that most likely the play calling will be on safety Kyle Duggar wearing the green dot with Juwan Bentley now out.
Ironically, it's probably Breece again. And you brought up that he had the go ball. He went into the huddle. He told Rodgers, if a linebacker was across from me, just throw me the ball. And Rodgers said, okay. And that's what happened. So when you look at it, the second option in the pass game is going to be Breece because Braelon Allen is ready. That changed what the Jets can do offensively. If he was a classic 20-year-old rookie that wasn't ready for prime time, well, then Breece has to live in the backfield. It's very static what you do with him. Now that Braelon Allen is ready, you could flex Breece out in the slot, and somebody's got to follow him. We know Gonzalez should be on Garrett Wilson. It's not going to be Gonzalez. You're not going to put your number one corner on a running back, but can you put a backup linebacker on Breece? Is Duggar going to go have to cover Breece, and that kind of takes him away from maybe the play side? There's so many variables here, and that Breece is really the number 2 receiver in this offense with how he can play from the backfield, how he can play out wide as a running back. It's very, very unique. And then you kind of hope if they're going to, shadow more attention to Breece in that regard, can Lazard, can Mike Williams make a play? Mike Williams on that second and I believe 14 that they converted on the game-winning drive last week, Rodgers just threw him a go ball and he just went up and got it. That's going to be a big challenge for any non-Christian Gonzalez Patriots corner. He's still 6'4". He's still an above-the-rim player. They just got to get him going, and that was a really good sign. But can you continue that throughout the course of a game? Not just one big moment you need him. So Lazard's been inconsistent, but we know Mike Williams, when he's on, he's a difference maker. It's just a matter, is he now ready for 70% of the snaps? Because that would change this Jets offense.
And that's a big mismatch with a Mike Williams matched up on a smaller Jonathan Jones, a smaller Marcus Jones. And again, with that absence of Juwan Bentley, that's more Kyle Duggar in the box. That's more Jabril Peppers in the box playing more downhill. Connor, you broke it all down on both sides. And I love that you pointed out the key to victory is this Jets offense. What is your prediction for Thursday night at home in a game where we've seen a low total below the 40s, but with this Jets offense, it sounds like the pressure is going to be on them to earn this win?
It is. And listen, I was a little surprised how large of a number that this launched at. It's been right around 6.5. I thought New England earned a little bit more respect than that from their first 2 games. I mean, they were in an absolute dogfight against a good Seattle team. They really took it to Cincinnati, specifically Rhamondre Stevenson. I think they will play the Jets tough. I think Rhamondre will get his. He'll break a lot of tackles. They're going to play heavy and really test the Jets. They're going to try to control the clock. I don't expect a ton of points. I think New England covers. I think the Jets do pull out the win. They simply, number one, they need this game. I mean, if not now for the Jets to compete in this division, when? These franchises are in very different states. I know New England's playing very competitively right now under Mayo, but the roster is not where they want it to be, where the Jets have been building this thing for a while, despite who's in or who's out. Everybody has injuries right now. So I think at the end of the day, you're looking more of a 17-13 kind of game, 13-10 Jets win. I do think the Jets will make an emphasis of having a hot start and trying to put a little bit more pressure on New England to actually have a drop-back passing game so they could try to pressure Brissett, something that I don't think Cincinnati or Seattle did a real good job of in terms of how many times you're requiring him to drop back. And I know New England's pressure rate when they do have him drop back is they're surrendering a lot, and that's going to be on the Jets to earn those situations. So not expecting a blowout, but also expecting a Jets win in a pretty close game. I'll land on 17-13 the final.